All right. Welcome everyone to our show, Get to Know Your Neighbor. I'm your host, Cameron Gieseman with Gieseman Homes. Each week we interview local neighbors and businesses of Fishers, Indiana, and share their stories with you. Don't forget to click the like button, post an emoji. I know on YouTube they do all these things where they tell you what to do. I'm not good at that, but make sure to let us know that you're here and that you're watching. It helps us out. Tonight we are interviewing Jill Lehman, which I have to admit, I need to ask her how she says her last name because I might have just said it wrong. Owner of High Frequency Arts, which it is in the Hub and Spoke building in Fishers. It's such an amazing building. High Frequency Art is not what you think of as a traditional, let's call it art studio. And I think that's what I really love about it. There's something for everyone really at every budget level. They do consultations, design, installation, and more. So I'll let Jill kind of get into that. But Jill also does more than just sell art, as she's sharing her expertise with doing either speaking engagements or podcasts and posts on her social media to kind of help spread the word of what art can really do for you, which is more than just putting art in your living room and stuff like that. So I'm excited about chatting with her. Our giveaway tonight, she has so generously offered to give a custom designed High Frequency Arts unplugged soy candles. So some of you might know of the unplugged soy candles. She has ones that are specific to High Frequency Arts. So I'm really excited about chatting with her. And so let's just jump right in and welcome Jill.
Hi.
There you are.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi. Okay, so did I say your last name right?
You did, just like the golfer.
Okay, good. Well, I asked my husband, I was like, how, because I didn't ask you and I didn't think about it. And so good. I'm glad I got it right.
No, you got it. But I answer to just about anything these days. Mom, art lady, you know it, whatever.
Art lady. I like that one. I do.
I get that one a lot.
I like that one a lot, Jill. Okay, so we're going to jump right in because I know we don't have a whole lot of time, but what do you love most about having an art studio in Fishers, or what do you just love about Fishers?
Sure. Well, I'm a boomerang to Fishers. I lived here back in the 90s, moved away, came back in 2011 because this is where we wanted to raise our kids. And so Fishers is really home to me and where my kids have grown up. And when we moved back here, I love art. I love to travel. And we didn't have a whole lot going on the art scene here in town. And India is still a growing art scene for the most part. And so when I started to think about bringing this all together, and there's a whole story behind that, I couldn't think of any place else but Fishers because this is our community. And this is where I think we can bring value, and we're excited to be here.
So the only place that I can think of that there was art is the 116 Gallery. Is there, when you came back, was there really any other place that was doing art or had art? I'm like, I can't think of any.
No, and over time, and I'm a board member for the Fishers Arts Council, and we've got art at City Hall and try to do pop-up events around the city. But no, there wasn't a whole lot of art when we came back to Indianapolis and back to the Fishers area. So, and we're the first gallery full gallery and artisan shop that I'm aware of.
That's really awesome. I feel like I always had to go downtown. They used to have like the Fridays where they would have pop-up shops, and I would do that. But having art locally, I think is really big. Well, tell us about your story, how you became an art collector and even an entrepreneur, because I think that those don't always lead together, right?
Yeah. Right. So it's interesting, if someone would have said to me, 18 years ago, would you open an art gallery studio boutique in Fishers, Indiana? I would have looked at them and said, what? I'm in corporate America. I'm an HR executive, chief administrative officer, but I've always been an art collector. So when I travel, always spend my time in art museums, art galleries. I love to meet artists. My husband is an artist. My daughter's an artist. And I always think being around art helped me in business. It helped me be more creative. It helped me disrupt the way I was thinking, being around artists and musicians. So when I tried to bring it into our workplaces and wearing my HR hat and thinking about culture and engagement and talent acquisition and moving from the more industrial age of work to the more creative age of work, I just saw the natural connection for art and what it could do for us in the workplace. And when I talked to interior designers at the time, they really didn't think of it that way. It was more decor after the budget. When I talked to art collectors, or excuse me, art consultants, it was more about status collecting. And let's face it, I've been in organizations that had big corporate collections, but that's not the average company. Okay. So I did it myself and I just fell in love with it, and then had friends and family and others in business say, hey, can you help me with my office or my home? And that's how it all started.
So did you really focus on the consumer, or at first at least, or more of the commercial or business?
When I started, it was commercial or business, because that was the space I knew best. I'd always been a personal collector, but it was really in the corporate environments. And then when I would do a corporate job, then I would have someone in the organization say, hey, I'm looking for a piece for my office or my man cave or over the fireplace. Can you come help me with some artwork? And so that's how I kind of went into residential. But our core has always been commercial.
Okay. So when I hear commercial, and I'm not in this world, so I'm going to go straight. I have no clue what I'm talking about, Jill. When I think about commercial, I worked at a CPA office, and they would have art, on the walls. I just assumed, that they just went, when they bought furniture and stuff, that they would just buy just whatever art is like at, let's call it Godby's, only because that's the only thing that can come to my brain right now, is they walk in and there's art, right? And so, and I'm assuming that kind of art is just replicated. It's the same thing, and it's mass produced. Is that a right assumption?
Yeah, a lot of commercial spaces and even homes are more mass production of art.
Okay.
And because it's common and it's easy and it's comfortable for us as consumers. And this is another reason I started High Frequency Arts, is because I wanted people to really be able to understand. Sorry about that. I wanted people to really be able to understand that you could find affordable art at all price points and at all styles that really spoke to you and your goals and your environment. And then when we did invest in art, what that does for our artists to help them have careers, and what it does to grow and feed our community in art. Because when art thrives and when artists thrives, it makes our communities more vibrant.
Yeah. Again, I'm not in this space. So I spent some time just kind of ruminating and trying to think of what art is to me. And I have to admit, like, I love going to, especially like at IU, when they have like the artist, where they have professional artists come in, but then they have student artists, right? And I love walking and looking at everything and seeing all of that. I just never can put it in my house visually. And that's where you kind of come in, it sounds like. Is you're kind of bridging that gap.
We do. So we work with interior designers sometimes that bring us in to do the art and the projects. We work directly with consumers to come in and help them find art for their projects. And most of the projects that we do for our individual consumers, I hate the word collector because that scares people.
Right.
They're looking for a piece or two, and many don't know where to start, and not sure the style, where to look, because art is a blue ocean. And you got to kind of narrow it down, and you want to make sure that you're investing in what you're investing in is quality, understanding what you're buying, understanding the questions you should ask, how much you should really be spending on a piece of art, what makes the difference between a $200 piece of art and a $2,000 piece of art. Okay. I just help my clients navigate through all those things.
So let's talk about that 200 and 2,000, right? Because clearly in my mind, the 200 is what I purchase. Well, I don't even know if you can find something for 200, but let's say 200 is something that you would find at like a Godby, right? And then the 2000, I'm sure you could find that at Godby too. But like, can you find sometimes people, or at least I'm going to say what I do is I go, okay, 200 is this size and 2000 is like this, you know what I mean? So is that still the case that typically sometimes it means you get a bigger piece if you're spending more, or is it more just about the technique, or is it the style, and or sometimes I've got to assume it's also who the artist is?
It's all those things. So it can be the technique, the materials used, the amount of labor that goes into it, how unique the work is. So, is the style of the artist something unique, or is it something common? Okay. All those things can play into the price of a piece of artwork. The artist resume. So just like, I'll use an example of our traditional career jobs that we think of, accounting or software developers. There's different type of accounting roles. There's different experience in accounting, right? There's different levels of jobs. Same thing with artists. We just don't understand it because it's never viewed or a profession that, unless you're an artist or you work in the art world, that you feel you have good understanding about, or the confidence to understand it.
I think that's probably where I am in there of like, it's never been explained to me. Right. And so I love looking at it. I love art. I honestly really love photography too, as like art. And it is creative in its own way. Right. And so it's like, but I have an opinion of something and I'm like, I don't want to make the assumption of not knowing, right, of what that artist is. You know what I mean? So I think it's good to kind of understand. And I think to kind of curtail off of that, like what makes your studio different and kind of why? I know why, but can you tell kind of our viewers like why you're different versus a traditional art studio?
Sure. I was very thoughtful when I brought high frequency arts into what I would call a brick and mortar space, because I really wanted art. I love contemporary art. I love abstract art. So you will see a heavy lean towards contemporary and abstract art, although we do have a variety, because I am a little eclectic and like to mix and match some things too. And I think there's some really talented artists in all the different genres out there. So I think that makes us unique is we mix, but it's contemporary in nature. We also, I really focus on diversity with my artists too, different styles, different techniques. So no two artists really do the same or similar work.
Okay.
I also, it's probably because I wear my HR and business hat too. I interview these artists and I get to know them and their techniques, their styles, making sure that they're professional and emerging professional, and the quality of work that they do, the quality of humans they are. We have about 70% of our artists that we work with are women. About 25% are other diversity. And I just like creating that community of our artists. They get to know each other. We are always bringing in and trying out new artists and trying to give more artist exposure. I think that's different. I also spend a lot of time talking to artists and to gallery owners to find out what worked and what didn't.
Okay.
To try to create a different model. I'm a big believer for people to want to invest in art and understand more about art. You have to make it accessible. You have to make it simple. You have to have it for all levels, whether you're, just new to art and buying your first piece, or you're a seasoned collector. I think you also have to, when I look at whether you buy art from high frequency, you buy it from the artist, we keep the same prices. There's no price game in what we do. which I think sometimes I avoid the word gallery a lot of the times because galleries can have that stigma. And that's just not what we're about. We're a very collaborative environment. And right now we've got over 70 artists and artisans in our space between my space here at Hub and Spoke and populated throughout the building.
That's really awesome. Okay, so I'm going to go back a second. Can you explain what you mean by contemporary art?
So contemporary art. So contemporary art is art that has been basically produced in nature from about really the 1960s, 70s, more in the modern era of work. Okay. It is contemporary. A lot of contemporary artists they're figurative art, but a lot of it is more abstract in nature or more pop art in nature. So a little bit more abstract, non-objective when you look at it versus objective, which means you're looking at an object.
Okay. I might have to come in, Jill, and you're going to have to
come in.
Sure. You're going to have to show me all of this in your studio, which, by the way, do you mind showing us a little bit of the studio? So like when people come in, because I'm sitting here and I'm saying, okay, you're an art studio, which art studio, I think of what is above your head or at your head level. But then I'm seeing jewelry and what looks like candles and other stuff. So can you kind of show us a little bit of the studio and kind of explain also, because you didn't go into that a little bit of like all types of art. We're not just talking print art.
Right. So, and that's another, I've always tried to push paradigms in my business, in corporate, and now with high frequency. I want to say art is more than just the art on the wall, because let's face it, we only have so many walls too in our spaces. True. But there are other ways that you can invest in art and you can support artists and artisans and makers. So here at High Frequency, we have your traditional wall art. We have blown glass. We have handmade furniture, so woodworking. We work with regional, local candle makers, other artisans, all different things that are what I would say are in the home decor and giftable space within our gallery. So I'm going to turn the camera a little bit and hopefully you can see all the little beautiful items. So you can see jewelry. We work with jewelry makers.
Yeah.
I've even got some, individuals who make some handmade soaps, candles, pottery. There's some of your more traditional, what I would say, wall art. We have small to cover your walls art.
Oh, nice.
These artists we start local and then we move out to the region, and then we have some national artists as well. Wow. But I bring in, I meet a lot of artists. They reach out to us. I reach out to them. Artists I've met at art fairs, artists I've collected from, artists that I think fit into, the commercial environment, that fit into our clientele, that contemporary modern space. So I love it. It's a dream sometimes just to be in the space and around all the art and working with the artist.
Do you ever have artists come in so that you can meet the artist with kind of what's there? Like if I come in and I'm like, ooh, I love a piece, but I would like to know the artist. Do you have events like that?
We do. So we're opening more and more of those now that we're getting hopefully more past COVID. But right now we do a quarterly open house. So think about those First Friday events that you were talking about downtown. We do that quarterly now here at Hub and Spoke, where within Hub and Spoke in the building, we have artists that are featured and they are at that event, as well as I invite every artist that is in my space at High Frequency Arts to participate in those events as well. So it's a great event. You can come and you can meet the artists. We have live music. We have wine. We always pick a charity for the event. So we give a % of sales proceeds, our bar service, to that charity. A lot of our artists also give back to different charities and organizations. So that's a great time to meet artists. And we will also be doing some different events that are focused on one-on-one meet the artist.
Okay.
We're doing some classes now with Hub and Spoke and Fishers Park. So we're doing some summer camps for kids that are focused in arts. We are going to be doing some adult themed girls' night, date night, fun things with arts and jewelry making. And we've partnered with a floral designer to bring some, do-it-yourself, learn how to do floral arranging. And we've got all kinds of things that are planned to, engage people with art, get to know artists, and hopefully create some experiences for us here in Fishers.
I love that. I love that what I've learned, at least talking with you, and hopefully viewers will kind of get this, is that it's not just art itself, it's artisans. And I think that to be able to support local and support the people that are here, because sometimes it is hard when you want something. I personally like to really have something that is of our community versus, for Christmas, we really tried to do that. And so like to go to your store and be able to buy Christmas gifts and stuff that are, again, local artisans, but still art, I really love that. I need to know all the dates of the get-togethers for girls, because I will invite all sorts of friends and we will have fun.
Wonderful. We'll have all those on our social media.
Okay.
We'll have all of those events on our website, and we always have them out on Eventbrite too. So those I know the June event is up, which is our next open house. I want to say off the top of my head, it's June Friday. I think it's June 14th. Let me look here real quick.
I was going to look at, so this is
June 18th.
Is it on this? Like, is it events?
Yeah, if you go to events, you'll see some of
Gotcha.
our events that are up there. Absolutely.
Oh,
you've got it up there. And we'll continue to populate those.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Yeah. My husband's Adam did a really good job. He always tries to put the website up and everything. And your website is done so well. I just really liked it. There's a picture for everybody, so you can tell like she's sitting right there, but that's the door. And to be able to just go in and kind of walk around, which I love that. I feel like I kind of, Jill, have some ideas of some artisans that I think would be good, or at least connect you guys. So I just think that it's good to kind of have that connection and stuff, and bringing it to the community. I think having it be where you're connecting children and people, and if they could just get in there and see it, I think it could maybe shift the mentality of what art is. So I apparently am on a scrolling thing right now.
You are on the scrolling bar of it, but there's pages, there's some of our artists, you can see some of their works on there. I have people come to me and say, tell me a little bit about your team. We're an all-female team, so we're 100% women-owned business, and we're a certified women-owned business. We do a lot of different activities and events to support communities, to support nonprofits. I sit on different boards that are focused on community development, arts organizations, leadership development, mentoring. We try to create a space that, art can be intimidating. So we try to make it not intimidating when you come. We're a touch and feel kind of art place too. I always hated going into galleries that intimidated me. And you felt like if you touched something or you just felt like you didn't belong in the space. That's not what we're about. So we really want you to engage with the art and get up close and personal, and that's what we're all about.
I was researching art to a certain extent, and there was an artist that I loved that I came upon. And of course, I don't know her name right at this moment, but she was also saying that she really wants to produce art where, yes, like it's a piece where you walk in and you do want to touch it and kids can touch it. And it's an experience versus just a piece that's on the wall. So I love that you just said that, because I think that that's a big part of it, right? To feel, because I have to admit, sometimes I go into places and I'm like, don't move, don't. And it definitely doesn't sound like that's what you have. So,
No, we it's up close and personal.
yeah.
So
Okay.
absolutely.
So outside of the website, which is there, we also
Mm-hmm.
have Facebook and
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, which is High Frequency Arts. And then you're
Mm-hmm.
also on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
So those are all the places that you can find Jill, which I think is amazing to have all of those. And then if somebody wants to, which is the best way if like, say they want to have you come and speak or get a hold of Jill per se, what's the best way to reach you?
So it's really simple for me. It's JELEHMAN. So JE Lehman at highfrequencyarts.com.
Awesome.
Or you can stop into the space and say, hey, get this note to Jill. We'd love to.
I need to talk to Jill. Well, I appreciate it. Let's do the giveaway, not stay tuned. Let's do the giveaway. So the giveaway, I did not prep you because we were going through a couple of things before. So here's the, I like that, Jill. Wait.
So we have two versions. This is one of them. This one says Channeling My Inner Creative.
I love that.
These are from Unplugged Soy Candles. I happen to have the sugared citrus scent.
Ooh, I bet that smells good.
Oh, they're fantastic. The other version says My Real Job is an Artist. So
I like that.
These are just locally crafted here, but specially made for High Frequency Arts.
I love that. Does it say the high frequency on top?
It does not. It's the Unplugged Soy Candle.
Yeah.
So,
well, so we need to ask a question. I have a good question, which I need to change this real quick, which let me edit this. I'm going to ask the question is, what was Jill's corporate job? Because you did say that.
Mm-hmm.
Save that real quick, and I'm going to scroll that at the bottom. So the first person who answers correctly and is first. I always repeat that. I don't know why. To the question. Now, we probably won't have somebody answer it. A lot of times we don't have people answer it during the live show. After, because sometimes people jump in, which I get it. It's Facebook and YouTube. So sometimes people jump in the middle and didn't catch the beginning. So for anybody that wants to go back and watch and see what Jill's corporate job was, then you can put that in the comments and then we'll connect you guys. Jill, is there anything else that you want to kind of talk about? Any events or anything that you're really excited about, or anything that kind of is just a little bit different that you haven't talked about?
No, like I said, I invite everyone out to our June 18th event. We've got a great show out in the Hub and Spoke area, which is all photography for this show. But we also partner with Nickel Plate Arts, and they have two artists doing a neighbor show, which is absolutely beautiful out in the Hub and Spoke Gallery. And we'll have a lot of the artists here, live music. Come join us.
Yes. I love
It's an evening event from 6 to 8:30 p.m. So a fun excuse to get out and Fishers.
Yes. Well, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for kind of explaining what sets you apart. I think there's a lot of people that don't even know that you're in the Hub and Spoke building. I mentioned because I knew you were coming on the store, on the show, I mentioned to a couple people like, oh my gosh, you should go over there. And a lot of people just didn't know you were there. So I want to get the word out because I'm all about supporting local artisans and trying to spread that word. So I'm excited. So thank you so much for coming on our show and kind of hopefully teaching some people that it can be different. It doesn't have to be kind of that stuffy feel that art studios. Is that what you call them? Is that what you said? Art studios?
Art galleries.
Gallery. You're right. It's the word gallery.
It just scares people, doesn't it?
It does.
Collector, gallery, it makes you feel like it's not a place for you, and we're a place for everybody, no matter what your experience level is. So we'd love to have you come out and see our space, meet our artists. We do complimentary 1-hour consultations for our residential clients. So you can come into the space, we can talk. Yeah, I'll let people check out art.
That's awesome.
Tell us what you need, and we're here to help.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jill. I really appreciate it. Hopefully everybody, if you have any questions for Jill, connect with her, see if you can maybe get a piece in your house. And I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me. Jill, stay online, but I'm going to say bye to everybody else. Everybody have a great night. Thank you so much. And we will catch you. Oh, I forgot to mention next week. Who are we interviewing next week? We are interviewing, Gina Melvin with Gina Celeste Boutique. And so she does, she's all inclusive, boutique. So she does from size extra small all the way up to 3X. So I absolutely love that. So we're going to chat with her next week. Again, that's April 29th at 7:30, but everybody have a wonderful night and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.